seconds.
Yay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start. I'm starting soon. So Georgia has to click live.
Yes.
How can it go?
Go.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon and good morning. This is from Tomomi Ishida from FAO Regional Office for the Asia and Pacific. And welcome to our satellite event in Asia and Pacific for the youth innovative transformation in agri-food system. So please let me invite Dr. Shuran Fei, research scientist from the Institute of Urban Agriculture, Chinese Academy of Agricultural Science. She is our kind of the youth scientist appointed as a World Food Forum as a model. And also she is also welcome. And also she is also like welcomely to be a host and also the moderator of the session. So, Sharon, over to you, yours.
Thank you, Tomomi. Okay, thank you. So hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. I'm Shuran Fei, based in China, Chengdu. Thank you very much for inviting me as the moderator of this satellite event in the Asia and Pacific region. So today our satellite event is called Youth Innovation for Transforming Agri-Food Systems in Asia and the Pacific. So today we will be inviting several panelists talking about how youth is involved in innovations and in the agri-food systems transformation. And thank you, the panelists first. Before I go into further information and the introduction of the panelists, please allow me to introduce a bit about the World Food Forum, which the event is in. So the World Food Forum is launched in 2021. It's an independent global network of partners facilitated by FAO. It was created for and is led by youth to spark a global movement that empowers young people to actively shape our agri-food systems with aim to achieve the sustainable development goals and a better food future for all. There are four thematic tracks of the World Food Forum: youth action, innovation, education, and culture. And for further details, please, our colleagues, please play the video for the World Food Forum. Thank you. So, Tomomi.
We are so committed to put together the truly youth-led platform to transform our food system. And for me, and I guess for everyone else here, this is a clear indication that to build better food systems, young people must be leading the way. We still have time and energy to bring about change for the better, for better production, better nutrition, better environment, better life, and why not, for a better future. A future in which the rest of the world focuses on eliminating barriers such as finance, land, and information that prevent young people from meaningfully engaging in different components of food system. And a future in which you and me and those who will come after us will inherit food systems that are better for the health of people, animals, plants, and the planet.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, after watching this video, you can feel we do have a lot of responsibilities and a lot to do in the agri-food sector. And as youth, sometimes we have limited resources, attention, but in a way, we are rich in a lot of other things like energy, possibility, innovative ideas, and passion and all that. So I think that is also the aim. We have this World Food Forum here every year to gather all the youth power together and talk about these issues and share experiences and ideas on how we can go together on this journey. So next, let's welcome our panelists today. We have two panelists for today's event, Christine and Ploy. Christine is the Associate Director of the AGREA Foundation in Philippines, and she has 8 years of experience in designing and implementing capacity building programs for rural farming communities and occasionally rice agriculture features. And so first of all, let's share the video from the Agri Foundation talking about their youth activities. So, Tomomi.
The Philippines is an agricultural country where many do not have access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food. This ignited my desire to pursue food science to help create a sustainable food system that can feed the growing population.
It started with curiosity way back 2013 and 2014. Nag-start ako magtanim ng apples dito sa Kapatagan from seeds. So ito po yung pinakauna kong apple na natanim dito sa Kapatagan 8 years ago.
Karamihan sa aking kamag-anak, pagsasaka ang ginagawa. Kaya naisip ko na gawin itong kabuhayan.
In our line of work, we aspire and aim to provide decent, dignified, and resilient livelihood for our farmers and mothers in Tawi-Tawi.
As a humanitarian and community development worker, I was able to witness gaano kahirap ang pamumuhay ng karamihan sa atin. It is the farmers who suffers greatly. Kasi sila yung nagpapakahirap para tayo ay makakain, pero sila yung mahihirap.
To spark change, we have to start with supporting our local community.
Go back to your hometowns. Find your roots. Agriculture is our past, present, and definitely future.
Gusto ko ring maengganyo ang iba pang mga kabataan na ibigin at tangkilikin ang agrikultura.
There is a future in agriculture.
Ipanalo natin ang mga adhikain nating pang-agrikultura upang kapayapaan ay makamit.
Okay, thank you. So I think after that, Christy would like to give a short presentation of what they are doing through the foundation. So welcome, Christy. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shulang, and good day, everyone. Mabuhay from the Philippines. Thank you very much for having me here today on behalf of Agria Foundation. I hope you were inspired and motivated by the video. These are exemplary young people doing good work in agriculture here in the Philippines. But before I will discuss more of that, I want to share with you the initiatives of Agria Foundation that we believe can be best practices on youth innovation that can support not just food security, but also of nutrition security. So Agria is a for-purpose organization founded on inclusive, sustainable, and fair trade practices. Agria's vision is to create the first of its kind model, a one-island economy model in the Philippines to alleviate poverty and hunger of fishing and farming families. We have actually 3 goals. These are zero waste, zero hunger, and zero insufficiency. We believe that human capital is the backbone of our economy. And taking good care of our only planet is actually integrated to all of the processes of Agria Foundation. Investing in human capital through nutrition is considered to be sustainable economic investment. Nutritious and safe food allows for healthy and productive lives. Agriculture actually plays a key role in the Philippine economy, employing almost 25% of our nation's workforce. However, our farmers here in the Philippines are aging. Average age is 57 years old. At the same time, the youth interest in agriculture here in our country is declining. This can be seen in the enrollment in state universities and colleges here in the Philippines that there is a decline of enrollees in agriculture-related fields. The Philippines is also of archipelagic nature. We have a lot of islands, 7,600 islands. And that also makes us at risk of typhoons. We have an average of 20 to 21 typhoons here in the Philippines every year. With these challenges, how can we include and engage more youth in agriculture? So first is actually recognition of young people doing exemplary work in agriculture. So that's the video that we have shared earlier. I hope you were inspired by that. I hope you felt motivated to be engaged in agriculture. Headlines of aging farmers and struggling fisher folks often dominate the news here in the Philippines. But Agria wants to spread the message of hope. There are young Filipinos actually making farming and fishing extraordinary, and their stories have the potential to motivate millions of Filipinos youth to follow. With this, Agria launched the inaugural Young Agri Laureate Awards, or YALA, last year to recognize the Philippines' most outstanding youth representing or working in the service of Filipino farmers and fisher folks. For their exceptional practice in agriculture and fisheries, Agria presented 5 Filipino individuals between ages of 18 to 30 years old and provided them a platform to invite others in advancing Philippine agriculture. So as you have seen in the video, we don't just have outstanding young farmer. We have outstanding young fisher folk, outstanding young agri-scientist, outstanding young agri-chef, and outstanding young innovator. So these are actually 5 categories and 5 areas that are exciting and meaningful. These areas are actually areas that the youth can look into and engage in terms of agriculture. Second is agriculture education. So in Agria, we have Agria Farm School. It is actually the core of our work in agriculture education. Here we integrate with intentionality to include more young people in agriculture. In our farm school, we teach leadership and values formation, dream building, sustainable and regenerative agriculture practices, climate change awareness, which is very relevant today, farmer to entrepreneur mindset, and use of technology in agriculture marketing. Agri-entrepreneurship is actually a very important component of our farm school because it diversifies the economic base of farmers. It is more than business as usual, and it is the heart for people and planet. It has the huge potential to bring decent work and economic growth, especially on rural areas. Our farm school now has around 2,000 graduates, and 50% of this number actually belong to the youth group. We have a lot of success stories of our youth graduates managing their own farms and agribusiness ventures. The youth are the present and future of agriculture, and including them on continuous learning opportunities like what we do in Agria Farm School can shape the future of food and nutrition security in our communities. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christy. I think that's very inspiring. And especially for the education part, because myself, our team is also doing some educational work in urban agriculture in collaboration with local schools. So I think that's a very interesting point to talk about because it creates the kind of long-term mechanism to encourage more people into this sector. So in terms of involving more people into the agricultural and food sector, how do you see this this thing? Because there's some problem in some areas that less and less people are interested in agriculture. And what do you think about that?
Yes, actually, my main takeaway on that is to have mentorship, access to finance, and recognition for young people in agriculture. First, let's talk about mentorship. There are a lot of things that young people like us really need to learn from the agriculture. The agriculture food system is a very complex system. It has a lot of processes, and we need to understand that. For example, the video you have shared earlier about World Food Forum, it tackles about food waste. And actually 1/3 of our food are wasted globally. Yes. So what can we do? What opportunities can we do about that? And mentorship for young people, mentorship from key industry leaders would be very helpful for young people to learn more about this. And discussions like this one, what we are doing here today, would be very helpful for young people. Second one is access to finance, because these young people have a lot of great ideas, especially in rural areas, but they don't have the access to learning opportunities and finance. So it is very important for the government, for policymakers and private organizations to actually invest on these great ideas of young people and really make it a reality on the ground. And the third one is actually recognition and role models. This is what we lack actually here in the Philippines. We don't have a lot of role models growing up. A lot of us answer when we grow up, we want to be doctors, we want to be engineers. No one wants to be a farmer because there is no farmer role model back then for us. But for me, myself, I have seen a role model. She is actually my boss and mentor now, Miss Cherry Atelano. And having that role model actually encourages more young people like me to be engaged in agriculture, because we can see that agriculture can be successful in a lot of fields, not just on food production, but on food technology, food science, agri-innovation, agri-chef. And yes, there are a lot of things to be proud of in the agriculture sector.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I may add another thing, which is technology, because I personally work in a research institute, and we are thinking that using good technologies and advancing these farming technologies and farming systems is also an important part to involve more youth to make them more interested in this sector. And for example, we have high technologies in vertical farming and this kind of different types of agri-food technologies. So yeah, thank you, Christine. And I may have another question. So as you are now working in this foundation, and how many years you have been working in here?
In Agria, I've been working here for 3 years already.
3 years. Okay. So what has motivated you to choose this kind of foundation organization to work in and keep you carry on this kind of work? Yeah.
Yes, I was actually born and raised in a rural farming community, and my parents are farmers. So this work is really very personal to me as much as it is professional. At a young age, I have observed the lack of young farmers already in our community and the lack of motivation of older farmers to grow food. Narratives in agriculture in our community are also negative, mirroring the realities in the field. It was my undergraduate research that really helped me see with deeper understanding the many challenges in the agriculture sector. And I said to myself that I make it my purpose to actually contribute in agriculture development, specifically rural development, because I'm from a rural area and there are a lot of potential of young people in rural areas to contribute to agriculture development.
Okay, thank you. I noticed there's another question in the chat box. Hunger incidence in the Philippines is increasing. Many families are living in poverty line. How are we going to reduce and mitigate these problems? That's a big question.
Yeah. That's a good question. And actually, I think a lot of that number belong to the urban areas. Unlike rural areas here in the Philippines, urban areas don't have the same knowledge, the same capacity of growing their own food. And actually, during the pandemic, around 4.6 million families, that's families, not individuals, in urban areas, specifically here in Metro Manila, experienced what we call involuntary hunger because they don't really have the income to buy food. So they depended on food donated by the government and local government and private organizations. So what we did in Agria is urban agriculture. Urban settlers should have the knowledge and skills in growing their own food, so that when the time comes when there is no food in their area, they can have access to eat at their homes. And actually now we have a very successful urban agriculture initiative here in the Philippines. We have trained around 200 women. So it's really women-centered because they are also the one deciding on the nutrition of the family. So it's very strategic that we focused on women, and urban agriculture is really working to have food security access at home, at the same time additional income for families in urban areas here in the Philippines.
Thank you. As a researcher working on urban agriculture, I'm happy to hear about that. And talking about urban agriculture initiatives, do you have any kind of your personal suggestions and recommendations on that?
Yes, urban agriculture, the first thing you have to consider is your access to land, because we are talking about urban areas. There are very limited access to land, especially here in the Philippines. So what we did in Agria Foundation is we have a memorandum of agreement to the landowners so that the urban community can access the land for food production. At the same time, it's really becoming a community production. One of our farms actually feeds 50 families, and we have actually four expansion sites. So it's really growing. The model is really growing, and we would like to suggest and replicate this to other areas in the Philippines as well.
Great. Thank you. So I think for urban agriculture and issues like the urban poor and the fast urbanization, which causing like other city problem and agriculture problem. We really need all the stakeholders, including youth like us and researchers and governmental authorities and all the actors in the society to work together and to aim for the same goal, like healthy diet and healthy planet. Okay, so thank you, Christy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'll welcome our second panelist, Floyd, who is the outreach manager of the Scholars of Sustenance Thailand. And employee has more than 6 years of experience in marketing, communications, and community projects, largely within the food industry. And she strongly believes in the power of communication in bringing the collaboration among different actors in the economic system towards sustainability transition. So first of all, again, let's watch a video from Floyd's organization.
27 million tons of food waste per year in Thailand. 9,000 tons of food waste per day in Bangkok alone. 1/3 of food being produced are ending up in landfills. 64% of general waste found in our landfills are organic waste, which includes food waste. Thailand has a total of 2,490 landfills, and only 466 of them can manage waste. That's only 19%. So imagine the remaining 81% that is producing harmful gas every day that is bad for our environment. Imagine that amount of food that could have supported those 8.4% of people living under the poverty line, or those 6.5 million Thai people undernourished. I want you to remember these numbers. This is a serious problem this country is facing. There is a big need to do something, and that's why Scholars of Sustenance is here. We are redefining the way food is distributed so that we can tackle the food deficit issue in this country. Scholars of Sustenance is the first official food rescue foundation in Thailand that was established and fully registered in 2016. It was founded by Bo Holmgren in 2012, a Danish national and a former CEO of Transoft Solutions Incorporated. It started in Bangkok, then expanded in Bali in 2017. And after a few years, we have expanded in Phuket in 2019, in Hua Hin in 2020, and last year, we were able to expand in Chiang Mai. SOS operates a food rescue program that collects good quality surplus food from different hotels, retailers, restaurants, food manufacturers, or food suppliers 7 days a week. Our Safe Serve certified food rescue ambassadors weigh them to collect the data, inspect the food for food safety, then goes to different recipients on the same day for food distribution. On average, we are able to rescue at least 3 tons of surplus food, which is equivalent to 10,000 meals every day. We use an in-house mobile app for productive food collection and distribution, plus for efficient data collection. SOS provides full training to our partners before we start our operation and regularly conducts refresher courses to ensure that everyone follows the strict protocol on food safety. This is conducted by our in-house food safety specialists. In SOS, food safety is non-negotiable. In terms of the communities we help, we prioritize those who badly need good nutrition, such as the elderly, disabled people, undernourished kids and women, plus the neglected communities such as the refugee camps and migrant workers. We also provide food support to a number of detention centers for kids, women, and homeless who has a big nutrition problem in terms of the food they serve to their people. We also expand our reach by distributing food to remote places in the country through collaboration with military volunteers. They help us deliver food to communities in the deep forest, mountain ranges that only them can reach through their military vehicles and equipment. Aside from our food rescue program, we also have Rescue Kitchen program, which turns rescued food ingredients into nutritious warm meals served to the communities the same day. This activity happens in different community kitchens across the city from all the locations we operate. It is run by different community volunteers who are doing it to help the community members. It's an action we made to address the urgent need of nourishment to a lot of struggling communities these days. We launched this program during the pandemic last year, and we are still cooking up to now, continuously addressing the high need of good nutrition. Education is a key component of our organization. Once a week, our Food Rescue Learning Program conducts a fun and interactive learning for kids to teach them about basic knowledge about food, soil, nutrition, and others. We also conduct food waste management workshops to provide companies and schools, even to local governments, so that we can teach people about composting and how you can avoid food waste right at your very home. We have a very clear vision in this country, and that is to create food equity where all types of people can have good access to good food. Our mission is very straightforward, and that is to address hunger and food waste in Thailand by 2030. And our goal is to serve 25 million meals by 2025. So far, we have rescued and donated 3.8 million kilograms of food, and that's equivalent to almost 60 million meals given to 1,000 communities we are supporting. Not only that, we were able to reduce CO2 emission equivalent to more than 7 million kilograms, thanks to our 400 plus partners who are helping us with our mission. This is what we do. This is our mission. These are our impact to this country, but the fight is not yet over. We are still going to lead this rally to encourage more businesses to start addressing their food waste. We are also finding ways on how to expand our reach so we can feed more people in need. We can't win this battle alone. We need more allies, more partners, so together we can make this country a better place for everyone. This is James Layson, and I encourage you to join Scholars of Sustenance Thailand now.
Okay, thank you. Quite impressive initiative. And because recently I've also noticed a lot of initiatives on food security across different regions and areas. So I'm really glad to see we also have that kind of initiatives in the Asia and the Pacific regions. And thank you SOS for doing this. My first question may be how SOS involve more youth in their initiatives and programs and all that, and how you encourage more youth to join you.
Yes, so maybe first of all, I would like to thank you everyone for having me here. And for the first question, since the video talks a lot about SOS work already, I will jump into like how we involve youth in our activity and organization. So because I've been working with SOS for 2 years and I've been like leading the young team of SOS and on like how to recruit more volunteers and students to join initiative with SOS. Basically what we launched in the past 2 years are 2 programs mainly. The first one is School of Sustenance. We have our staff going to the school, different school from the elementary to primary school to teach children about nutrition and how the food system works, and also like how they can reduce food waste in their school, for example. So the teacher itself and also the student can work together in the garden and maybe do the compost in their own school. And then the second one, we have the program called Student of Sustenance. This one we focus on high school students and also college students because they are the one who having a power to talk and spread the awareness about food waste and hunger problem on social media because they are the one who use digital platform a lot. What they do is that they group up the team of high school students, like their friends together, and start doing some fun activity at the school, for example, food drive program, where they ask the parents and the student in the school to donate surplus food at home to the box in the school so that they can spread the word about the problem of food waste at the school and engage with other students. And at the end of the program, they will just ring us and saying that, hey, Scholar of Switzerland, we have collect a lot of surplus food from the school and also from our friend home. Can you pick it up? And that's how we engage with them. Yeah.
Thank you. That's quite inspiring in education, and you actually covers different stage of students and try to use different characteristics of these different stages of students, and that's very good. My next question maybe, because you're doing really a lot of work in this kind of food saving, and you have different programs in SOS, and sometimes maybe that's my personal point, that this kind of business is not very economically viable. So I'm wondering how SOS source their funds, or how they make this business viable. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So actually, SOS is registered as a non-profit organization. So we are totally NGO and charity, but we use business approach in our work. So what we do is that we know that we cannot work alone on these missions. So we try to invite a lot of private sector who are like our food donor, or even non-food businesses, to help us moving on our mission. For example, we might ask the company to do some CSR program with us. They might send their employees to do volunteer with us, and then they donate some part of the profit to our organization, for example. And sometimes we write grants to the international organization and some governmental organization as well. And the biggest example could be the one that we trying to work with the government and private sector on building National Food Bank for Thailand, because we haven't gotten one. And because SOS in Thailand is still a food rescue foundation, we don't have any warehouse yet. So we are working with them to see that if the government can subsidize us in some way. So that's how we try to move on changing the food system in the later part of the food system, like the downstream level. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really a joint work actually to move this kind of good things forward. And in terms of yourself, I'm wondering how did you make the decision to join SOS and to jump into the agri-food field in your career?
Yeah, my background is in marketing actually, but because I was interested in food system and in food industry for quite a long time, so my first job was with the food startup, trying to build future protein, but it was 7 years ago. It's not really working because it's still a very new concept, and people might not understand about how the future protein can save environment or reduce the CO2. So I decided to study in the UK for my master degree, and I had a chance to do volunteer with one charity nearby my college. It's called Food Cycle. And what I did that time, I rescued surplus from the supermarket, and then I sent to the homeless people. And at that time, I saw a lot of bananas in the store as going to be wasted, and I realized that okay, the UK might not be able to grow banana, but it's travel a long way to the UK. So I started realize about food waste problem, and then I try to look up to like how Thailand was doing at the moment. And I found SOS, and I feel like I can use my expertise and skill in communication and also marketing and how to do partnership to help SOS grow further. So that's why I'm here with SOS right now. Yeah.
Very good. I mean, that's a long story, but it's the fascinating part of you. Like you keep thinking and making new ideas yourself. Along the way, you experience different things, and you meet different people, and you're motivated, and you can just do it. So yeah, thank you for sharing your experience. And I noticed another question in the chat box. how can food that go to waste be harnessed by youth to produce animal feed? Any good examples from Asia?
Yes, actually, my friend, they are doing animal feed right now, but what they do, they does not turn food waste into animal feed directly. What they do is they use the food waste to feed the black soldier fire, which has a high amount of protein itself, and then use that protein make into animal feed later on, so it can add value as well. Yeah.
Great, great. So thank you, Floyd. Next, thank you, Floyd. So next part, I will invite Christine again to the floor. So we will have a kind of panel discussion session here. Is Christine? Okay, Christine is here. So I think we have some common questions and problems and ideas here. So I'll pick some questions to talk and discuss with you both. And so first of all, I think there, as I mentioned in the starting part, we have challenges for youth. That's true. Especially in the agri-food sector and especially for some kind of innovative practices like starting off a business, this kind of thing. So how do you see these kind of challenges and have you met different types of challenges and how you overcome these challenges? So maybe Christine first.
Okay, thank you, Shulang, and thank you, Ploy, for that very meaningful work that you do in Thailand. I would like to highlight this key takeaway from the Rural Development and Food Security Forum led by the Asian Development Bank way back in 2019. It was highlighted that youth are central to rural development as they are the foundation of success. For successful transition, young people need to become productive, connected, and empowered. So I want to highlight these words, being productive, connected, and empowered. So I believe these three areas are very important and should be tapped for young people to be really engaged in agriculture. And as a rural youth myself, I believe that young people, especially in rural areas, have a lot of potential to ensure food and nutrition security. Building the capacity of rural youth towards food and nutrition security should also have policy and government support, because without these two, it will not really happen. So it's really important that policy and government support are there to support youth development and youth initiatives in agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. I totally agree with that. And Floyd, could you share your opinions on that?
Yeah, for me, I can say about my example because we've been working with the government and the private sector on the National Food Bank, which is like not a new concept, but it can be said that it could be one innovative solution for Thailand because we don't want to do a warehouse like traditional food bank in other countries. But what we want to do is that we want to try to match up between data of surplus food and match with the data of the community in needs. So that means we are working on AI matching about surplus food. If we have like available surplus food in the country and also the number of community to match up. But the challenge is that sometimes working with the government is quite hard because they might not understand the total idea behind it. Then it took about like 2 years to negotiate and explain with them. But what I think we did and work is that we use all the data we had been collected for 6 years and show them that if we can reduce food waste together by redistributing surplus food to the community in needs, we can actually reduce a lot of money in using for the social welfare in some way, so that they can help as well as doing the work and innovation and also the data analysis on that. That's for the example. But other than that, for the other youth who trying to do startup in agri-food system, it's still quite hard to match them with the local farmer we don't have that kind of intermediary in the country to say what area that should be improved. So yeah, I think it's all about the data and open data to share with people in the country. Still a challenge.
Yeah, thank you for that. And in terms of the linkage between urban and rural, like for example, us three may be very much educated, and we have platforms and organizations to speak out our opinions. But like for youth in rural areas, they may be having very limited channels and opportunities to talk about their ideas and to make their ideas come true. And what do you think about that? And what kind of suggestions do you have on that? And maybe Christine again.
Yes, that's a very good question. And I think agriculture education will play a crucial role in this area, specifically for young people in rural areas. In rural areas, what we need to look into is really access to internet and access to opportunities. And in Agria Farm School, we have a lot of best practices that actually connect all of this to young people in rural areas. So in a farm school, like I have shared earlier, we have lessons on climate change awareness, which is not really a part of agriculture education by our institution, but really integrated that to help rural youth to understand that climate change is happening and what are the ways to mitigate the effects of climate change in their areas. And the second one is access to technology. So in our farm school, we have free Wi-Fi access so that all of the youth can access it. All of our students can access it. And the third one is really a platform and a voice for the youth would really be needed. In our farm school, we have what we call the Women Food Producers Association. So this is like a group of all of our farm school graduates that can help them access in the future government and private sector support, even though they are not our students. Through that association and organization, their voices, concerns, and challenges can be heard and can be addressed. So I think the third one, the platform, would be very important. Thank you.
And I think initiatives like the recognition awards you mentioned in your presentation is also important to make them confident of what they are doing and to showcase their practices, good practices in the field. Yeah, and Chloe?
Yeah, I would say that because FOS is not working with the people in rural area a lot, but I have some more story to share because I've been connecting with other people in Thailand who are working on the food system in rural area as well. For example, we have Slow Food Group of in Chiang Mai, the northern part of Thailand. And I think that organization really helped young people in the north a lot if they want to start a business and trying to save the biodiversity of the food over there, because they provide tools and mentorship to the young people and how they can develop the business or the product from the idea that they have. I think youth in both urban and rural area, what they need is that the full mentorship and the coaching, because sometimes when the young people would like to change on something, they will rush to the final result. They want to see the change very fast, but then the change takes time, right? I think they will all need someone who can stay with them and stay like throughout the journey and saying that it will be successful if they continue doing it. Yeah.
Thank you. And I noticed another question in the chat box. Any connection with the team working on black soldier fly in Asia addressing high quality protein need in the livestock sector using food waste? We would like to scale that in East Africa and looking for best practices and potential partnership. So either of you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I actually know a few people in Thailand right now, but they are still a startup, so they're still doing a very low scale. What I know more is that they sometimes they use to feed cricket, not just the back soldier fire. So I think those kind of two insect protein can work together in some way. Yeah, I think I can share later on the name of the
Yeah, maybe
organization.
afterwards you share the link within our chat box, and
Yeah.
Momi and our colleagues will share them.
Sure.
Thank you. And I have another accident accident question, because the three of us are women accidentally, and of course, women is also kind of vulnerable in career and in innovation activities. And what's your feeling and opinion on that? And any suggestions? And Christine, you please first.
Yes, thank you for raising that very relevant point, Shulang. Actually, it's also a challenge here in the Philippines. Our agriculture sector is really male-dominated industry, but actually there are a lot of opportunities to be seen for young women and women in agriculture. So that's why in our farm school, we really see to it that we include more women in agriculture and actually provided them with opportunities through our Women Food Producers Association. And being a woman farmer in the Philippines, you will be paid much less than your male counterparts. And we really want to mitigate or clear these challenges for young women and women in agriculture for them to reach their full potential. There is a long work and many work to do, but recognizing the role of women in agriculture, specifically on family nutrition, is very important. And if we want to have a food secure world in the future, 30 to 50 years from now, including more women and youth is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. And Floy, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, for me, I feel like in Thailand, we see more females step up and working on the food system in Thailand, both in startup and NGO world. And if I speak of my experience with SOS, I could see that SOS working with more than 80% with female community leaders who are like taking care of their community itself. They want to see food security inside their own community. So they start up, they start their own initiative inside the community first. For example, if we ask them that, do you want to do a community kitchen? They will just say yes right away and invite other people to join them. So I feel like we are in the society that now women empower each other. So we can work more on everything. Yeah.
Thank you. Because the time is coming to the end, so I have the final question for you both. So what's the plan for yourself in the next 5 years? And then use one sentence to the audience to either encourage more youth to join our journey or to encourage more attention and support from the society, from all the sectors for our youth activities. Just go for it, Christy.
So thank you, Shulang. One sentence, okay? I hope that the one thing young people understood and would take away from our discussion today is that agriculture is not just growing food, agriculture is growing our future, and we are all part of this.
Thank you, that's very inspiring. And Ploy.
Yeah, so for me, in the next 5 years, I still don't know where I will be. But my dream is that I want to see that the National Food Bank project in Thailand gonna be happen real soon. I want to see that within this next 5 years. And for the one sentence, I would like to share with other youths around the world or who would like to step on in changing the food system is that please do not give up because it takes long time. Food system is very complicated and there's a lot of stakeholders you need to coordinate and talk with because we are all connected with the food and food system. So don't give up and keep working on it and keep all the data. If you need to work with adults because you need to show some evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you both. So here comes the end of the event, and thank you again for our audience and our panelists. And we are confident, and we are passionate in what we are doing as youth, and let's work together towards a healthier diet and healthier planet together. And so I think that's coming to the end of our event today. And thank you again, everyone. And I think we are also on live streaming in Rome, the meeting room in Rome. And I will pass the mic maybe a few minutes before the time. Pass the mic to the Rome meeting room. And I hope everyone enjoy the World Food Forum events in the next few days. And thank you. So shall we close this?
By the way, thank you, Shulang. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you very much, Shulang and Chloe. It was a great
You made
discussion.
very good answers.
Thank you.
Thank you.